the opportunity to stand up as an educator or a coach and have the opportunity to introduce a student or player who has impacted your life. I hope you get to feel the pride in seeing one of your own accomplish greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, Macy Clements.
Alright, I wrote down my speech, actually typed it like 2 days ago, so no, I don't have it memorized. So bear with me as well. It's a little lengthy too, so hopefully I don't bore you. Alright, so the other day in Algebra 2 class, a student of mine congratulated me on getting inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. I was in disbelief how she already knew, because the news was pretty fresh, but also felt grateful. Another student of mine sitting next to her looked at me and said, "You're getting inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame, where there are not that many people to choose from or something." So when I think back to the time I spent here at Cannon County, it's always been with fond memories and a good feeling, and growing up in this community has a profound effect on me in general. So profound that I am still currently here in Cannon County as a high school teacher and a softball coach. All of that makes it even more special to have been chosen to be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. First, I would like to sincerely thank everyone on the committee for thanking me for this wonderful recognition. It is certainly one of the most meaningful and personal honors I've ever received, and I'm proud and flattered to be standing here in front of you and other inductees tonight. This accomplishment is not something that I did alone, and there are many others who deserve to share this award, and I want to thank several people who made playing basketball, softball, and running cross country such a joy for me. Ms. Garrett, who is inducting me here tonight, and a former basketball coach of mine, and now my current boss. She believed in me the most, as if coming to the high school wasn't scary enough. Ms. Garrett was even scarier. She was not the fondest of freshmen, and honestly, who could blame her? But for some reason, she was fond of me. Although she picked on me wearing my hair in a side ponytail, or having my most famous bun, Autumn, you know, and having the ugliest shot, she believed in me. She saw potential in me. She pushed me. And thank you for always believing in me, even from being a puny freshman to my senior year and now being a teacher here at the high school. Not only did she coach me through basketball, but she also now gets to guide me as an educator. Maybe I shouldn't say guide. It's more or less of me asking her a million different questions throughout every single day, whether it be me walking straight into her office unannounced, or calling her or texting her on my phone, which I know is the highlight of her day. So again, for example, she helped me with this speech. Thank you again for everything, Ms. Garrett. From her perseverance, my head coach, Michael Dodgen, and our assistant coach, Darvin Gill, I believe I truly did excel in basketball. At the time, during high school, I did not believe that. From Coach G coaching me through all of our junior varsity games my freshman and sophomore year, to Coach Dodgen yelling at us so bad that his eye would twitch. I was able to grow so much as a player. I wasn't a shooter or a scorer, and everyone on the team had a job to do during the game, and mine again was defense. I never looked at the goal. My job was to guard post, giving it all on defense and rebound, where I would immediately dish Abby Sism or Madison walk up the ball to hopefully get an assist or hopefully push the ball up the floor. If they missed, I gave it my all in boxing out and trying to get everything to do to get the ball back. Although I didn't break any school records, again, I was 2 rebounds shy of having the most rebounds in a game, which happened on 2 different occasions, and collecting 280 rebounds my senior year. And for me, that's what I played for, and that's what I strive for. Cross country. Who wouldn't want to join a sport where you run 18 to 20 miles a week? I never played a sport where the actual sport was to run. Normally you run during a sport for conditioning or punishment. No high school student wants to run just to do it, right? My sophomore year, Mark Larson, which I know he's not here, I still want to thank him though, wanted to start a cross-country team and absolutely begged me to be on it. Me being me, I gave in and decided to do it, and it was rough. From starting at Dillon Park and running all the way past the Art Center to running back around Dillon Park, completely barefoot in grass, I ran it all for 3 years. Mark Larson encouraged me, and even when he would, Mark Larson, thank you for begging me to run cross country, pushed me, and always gave me the most encouragement, even when he would laugh us around at Dillon Park because that man could possibly always run for days. Cross country gave me a drive, bettered my endurance, made me in shape, and made it all the conditioning for other sports I had played a piece of cake. With how competitive I am, I always placed within the top 20 runners during my meets. And at the end of those meets, with the hundreds of feet until the finish line, Coach Larson was always there yelling at me to make the last and final push across the finish line. The last and final sprint, trying to push my hardest to reach the finish line for me, that's what I ran for. Thank you, Coach Larson. Finally, softball. During my 7th grade year, I got so burnt out from softball and quit. During my senior year, my freshman year, Galen Sism asked me to come to a few practices to help out his daughter, Emily Sism, who was a pitcher. Of course, I did, and I started missing this sport. During my junior year, he begged me to come. Galen and my assistant coach, Miss Walker, asked me to come to help them play center field because they needed a center fielder, which I had never played that position before, but I was up for a challenge. I picked it right where I left off, and it felt so natural to me. Laying out and diving for balls in the outfield is what I played for. Feeling that bat hit the ball so smooth to hit my teammates in, that's what I played for. Thank you, for bringing me back to the sport that I forgot I enjoyed and missed so much. And during my senior year, my mom told me, Macy, you should play softball in college. And I told her, Mom, no one is going to want somebody that's only been playing in high school for 2 years. She believed in me, and so did Miss Walker. So thank you for reaching out to Mala to get me to play in college. And because of her, my athletic career was not over once I graduated high school. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to play in college, and again, where I also got to play basketball as well. Other than thanking my coaches, I must thank my family. I'm almost done, I promise. Mom, thank you for being the biggest role model and one of the biggest supporters. You've taught me how to be driven, how to reach my goals, and how much hard work pays off. From t-ball to starting in basketball at Westside in 6th grade, to basketball, softball, and cross country in high school, to playing dual sports in college, you never once gave or missed a meet or a game. If I had a bad game, you always encouraged me to lift me up. You were my rock, my best friend, and without you, none of this would have been possible. All my accomplishments are all because of you, and I'm forever grateful for you. Thank you, Mom. Ken, thank you for always being here, a huge supporter for me. Just like Mom, you were there for every sport that I had, or every game, and you never missed a meet. You're the reason why I fell in love with the sport of softball. You coached me and taught me so much about the game. You taught me what it was like to have discipline in sports and have respect for my coaches. Thank you. Dad, thank you for always being a supporter of me, even if it was from afar. I know the distance between us was hard on both of us, but you always stayed up to date with everything I was doing. Talking to you about my accomplishments and hearing how much you brag about me and how proud you are of me puts me with the biggest smile on my face. Thank you. All right. And then last but not least, y'all all probably know him, is my grandfather. If anyone here thinks that they possibly have a bigger fan than you do, I promise you are sadly mistaken. This man has been to every game and meet that I've ever had throughout my whole entire athletic career. During every basketball tournament, whether it was in Washington, D.C. or in Florida, he was always there. I could count on him to be sitting in the bleachers during any away or home softball game. At the end of every meet at the finish line, I could always look up and see him standing there cheering me on and clapping his hands. At every away basketball game, he was always there. During every single home game, I could look over in the middle of the bleachers at the bottom row, and he would be sitting there in his stadium chair, grinning ear to ear with the sweetest wave. He's such a fan that he purchased his own jacket, embroidered all 3 sports that I played with my numbers on it. In college, during my home softball and basketball games, whether it was away or not, he was always there. Not many people have someone like you in their lives, and I'm truly lucky. Papa, thank you for always supporting me and believing in me. To all my friends and my family, my teammates and my coaches, thank you for the wonderful memories that I'll forever cherish. Thank you for the support and encouragement that allowed me to succeed as an athlete. Again, it's an honor to receive such an admirable award for someone who didn't break school records or didn't lead in scoring. Always felt like I was in the shadows as a player, as if I wasn't noticed, but here I am being noticed for my hard work while I was an athlete here at Canyon County High School. I will continue my efforts and work hard as an athlete and prolong my dreams of still being an athlete by coaching my own group of girls on the softball team here at Canyon County High School. Thank you.
To be inducted next is Roger Haley, an all-time winning grammar school coach with over 500 career wins, including 21 grammar school county championships and 2 state championships achieved during a 25-year career. Presenting Roger into the Courier Hall of Fame is Hall of Fame member himself, Mr. Teddy Taylor.
Well, I think most everybody here knows who I am, but we'll get into this. I want to thank the Courier and Homeland Community Bank and the Hall of Fame Committee for putting this all on. It's a great thing. It's been going on for several years now, and I look forward to it every year. Somebody said the other day, life is how you remember it. I remember Roger Haley as a player, a teacher, a coach, a contributor to his community, and a leader. I remember as a coach, I wanted players that were coachable, humble, and that would play hard and was a thinker of the game. This is Roger Haley. I remember a PE teacher who has taught at every elementary school in Cannon County at some point, and that would watch the girls and boys play and guide them to their sport they were best suited for. I would talk to him sometimes, and he would tell me something like, this boy could throw a football 50 yards, or this girl could run all day. This is Roger Haley. I remember a bumper sticker when I was young I saw that said, the best thing you can give, that you can spend on a kid is time. As athletic director for the middle schools and holding his own camp in the summers for all the kids that wanted to come in and get better in the summer months, this is Roger Haley. I remember a man who was instrumental in organizing and coaching Dixie Youth baseball, youth football, and elementary school basketball, where he has won a total of 517 games over 28 years. His teams won 21 county championships and 2 James C. Hale state championships, with some runner-up trophies. This is Roger Haley. I remember a leader. The real job of a leader is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. That means when everything goes right, you have to give away all the credit. But when everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility. This is Roger Haley. I remember being asked to present one of the newest 2022 Cannon County Sports Hall of Fame members. This is Roger Haley. And I'll leave you to it.
Thank you, sir. For those that don't know, Coach Taylor's been an inspiration for a lot of people in this county, and especially me, and I appreciate the good words. When you talk about coaching, some people call it a career, some people call it a job. I call it a journey, and I tell my players we're going on a journey together, you know. And the first people I'd like to say that started that journey with me is my family, and I really appreciate what they've done over the years and the support they've given me. Second on that list would be your friends. And I've made a lot of friends through basketball, and those friends have become like family, a lot of them. Some of them are here tonight, and I really appreciate that for the support. One thing that's really important on our level is our administration. And I've worked for 6 different principals, I think. But about 12 or 13 years ago, I was blessed with a principal that was a standout basketball player, a parent, even coached the game. And at times had to put on the principal hat and tell some of my players they weren't playing that night. But she understood the importance of the game, that basketball was a game that some kids needed. Basketball didn't need them. And I thank Miss Karen King for her support over the last 12 or 13 years. Been great. But when it boils down to it, you cannot succeed without your players and without great parents. And I have been fortunate enough over the years to have a lot of great parents, a lot of them in the crowd tonight. And if you got great parents, you're going to have great kids. And those players have worked hard for me, and that's what makes the journey worth it. Somebody once asked me why I stayed on the level I'm on. I got a chance to make an impact, and hopefully a positive impact, on a lot of young kids. When you go through life, winning and losing is great, but what those kids remember and the lessons they learn from you is what's going to be important. And that's what I'm hoping that my journey with them has been about. Thank you.
Karen Todd King is our next new member of the Hall of Fame. A member of the Cannon County Lionettes 1987-88 runner-up state championship teams and current principal of Westside School. Presenting Karen into the Courier Hall of Fame are her daughters, Autumn, Taylor, and Addie.
Most great coaches know what it takes to be a good team player. Things like communication, determination. I think Coach Teddy said being humble, things like that. But the greatest quality I think a good player can have is passion. This is a quality that our mom, Karen Todd King, has exhibited in every facet of her life. Passion led Mom to being a cheerleader at Westside Elementary School her 5th grade year. She's always been great at cheering people on and lifting them up. But her true passion was basketball. She helped lead Westside to the state tournament her 7th and 8th grade year, specializing in defense and rebounds. This passion is what helped her carry her high school team to the state tournament as well. Regardless of who scored the most or who played the most, she was passionate about winning, passionate about helping her team, passionate about the game. This led her to be District 8AA All-Mid-State First Team, All-District Team, and All-Region Team twice. She got 3rd most offensive rebounds in the Mid-State, most rebounds award, and the defense award. Although possible, she decided not to pursue basketball in college.
With the good old days behind her, Mom carried her passion into the education system. She taught in the classroom for 16 years and has been the principal for ongoing 14 years at both Westside and Eastside Elementaries. The passion for her helping people and encouraging others has made her incredibly successful, which in turn has helped everyone in the community.
She carried this passion into her family, raising her children to be God-fearing and strong, instilling that passion into us as well. It wasn't always easy, but she always made it happen. Throughout the trials and the tears, which I'm about to get flowing, victories and smiles, we always knew that she was always in our corner cheering us on, especially in basketball. If you've ever been to a Lionettes game, or really any game that Karen has been at, you've heard her yell at us, another player, a referee, or more than likely one of us. With her kids in the game of basketball all in one place, who is really to blame her? Which leads us tonight. Her passion has led her to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Whether it was on the court, on the sidelines, on the bench, or in a school or gym, or even in an office, she has shown the greatest quality of a player time and time again for both sports and those around her, passion. And it's our honor to introduce our mom, Karen Todd King.
Oh, you want me to hold that? Okay.
He said slide this way.
Oh, slide this way. Oh, there's too many of us. All right, we're done.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Roger Haley for the shout out because the blessing's been all mine. And it's really an honor that we get to share this night because I've been able to be there with Roger as he's coached and really taught kids about the game of life. And I've been to several of these, and really, you don't really pay attention to the process. And so when I was in there eating, I was like, Teddy, am I going to have to talk? Or they're just going to introduce me and it's over. And he was like, well, yeah, you've got to give a speech. I was like, cool. Okay. So I was thinking as I was eating just about what basketball has meant to me. And first of all, I want to thank all of you who makes this night possible because this is a huge honor for our student athletes as well as those of us who played before you guys. And I want to tell you funny, we had an alumni game last week at my school, and I actually played basketball for just a few minutes. And some of my students said, you mean you played basketball? And so I appreciate the fact that we get to share this with you guys that are coming up. I feel honored to join the other nominees and all the Hall of Famers who have come before us. My time playing basketball is some of my best memories in grammar school or high school. If you're a Lady Lionette sitting in the crowd tonight, I highly recommend state tournament. There is no memory like it, and there is nothing like running out under those lights. So I just recommend that for all of you. I've been very blessed to have some of the best coaches that have been in Cannon County. Ronald Bassham and Robert A. Harris taught me lots of things that I need to know. They were very fundamental coaches. They had very high expectations. Miss Annie Cox also helped Mr. Bassham coach me, and Miss Barbara Parker helped Coach Harris, and is probably the reason I'm still alive. I just want to tell you a funny, if you knew Coach Harris and his limitations, we would have a freshman who didn't understand how life worked on the road to York that would say, Coach Harris, turn up the radio. And we would all scream, no! And if you don't understand that, I'll explain it later. But Miss Barbara Parker is probably the reason I'm still alive. I've been, my mama heart has been so proud that my 3 daughters have loved the sport as much as I did. And I've enjoyed watching them play. And I've told them after they started playing that basketball really is just about doing life with a basketball in your hand. And everything I ever needed to know about life, I learned on the ball court. And I want to share some of those things that I learned quickly with you. Number 1, if you read the article, or if you read the article, you'll see the first thing I learned was that Daddy usually knew best. He challenged me in everything that I ever did, and everything that I ever accomplished, he wanted me to go a little bit further. My mother was also in my corner, and she supported me, but she would be the one when I came in crying, saying I can't do it anymore, say, just quit. And she knew I wouldn't, but that was her way of saying that if I ever wanted to, I could. The second thing I learned is if you hit people too many times, you can't play anymore. I can't tell you the number of games I have ended with 4 fouls, but sometimes I would get that 5th one, sometimes in the 3rd quarter, and watch the rest of the game from the bench. The lesson I got from this was that you need to treat people the way you want to be treated, and you can be ambitious, but don't hurt people in the process. Number 3, God really does care about basketball. There were games that I wanted to quit, and one in particular was against DeKalb. And in the middle of halftime, literally, I said, I'm quitting. I haven't hit a thing. I don't think I've done anything. I'm just going to quit. And I told Coach Harris I was going to quit. And he said, you're not quitting, Todd, get on the floor. And he didn't care. And that night I went home, I had an FCA Bible, and on the front of it was written Philippians 4:13 that says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I decided I'd let him do just that. I can't tell you the number of times I prayed through games. I prayed through foul shots. I prayed when I was sitting on the bench after I fouled out that the rest of the team would do what they needed to do. And I also learned that you can get down, but never give up. I learned you can't do it all by yourself. You have to trust people and expect the best from them. I was surrounded by some very amazing players. By 2 that I want to highlight tonight were Sandy Hazel and Julie Powell. Sandy Hazel was a player. She was my point guard from the time I started in grammar school. I could trust her to be where she needed to be every single time. We had a great fast break play, And we would line up, three of them would line up right here close, and everybody be focusing on them, and she would already be at the other end. And every time, I never had to look for her. She was always there. I knew I could always trust her. Julie Powell came in with this cute little behind-the-back pass that I had never had to catch before, and I can't tell you the number of times I lost the ball because she kept tricking me. Eventually, she found out she could trust me to catch it. Timing is everything. The people who was on my team did not come together by coincidence. I was surrounded by successful people at the right time. This has helped me as I went into leadership to know that I don't have to know it all. I surround myself with other people who know the things I don't, and I trust them to do their job. The next thing I learned was always pick up your trash. When they were doing my stats and said that I had almost 800 rebounds, I was like, oh my goodness. But that was part of my philosophy. Nothing came off that goal that I didn't want, because I just considered that trash and something free. Everything works better with a plan, but your plan won't always work, and it's okay to improvise. Sometimes you have to keep playing, even when it hurts, because the game nor life will stop for you. Always leave a path, because people are watching. Give them something to follow. One of my favorite things that I got to leave behind was my suit. I was number 51, and Coach Harris came to me my senior year and said, here are some people that are going to make the team as freshmen. Who do you want to have your suit? My number one goal when I started out as a freshman was to get my suit retired. I did not make that happen. But I asked him to give it to Beth Stewart. And if you go into the high school, number 55's on the wall, my suit got retired. Thank you, Beth. The last thing I learned, if you ever hear me sitting in the stands when my daughter's shooting foul shots, you will hear me say these things. I'll say put it up first. Put it up first. So that means aim high, keep your focus, shoot straight, and always follow through. Thank you so much for inducting me into the Hall of Fame.
Our next inductee is Mr. Benny Lance. Lance, a three-sport star, was a member of the Woodbury Central High School's very first baseball team in 1981. Presenting Benny into the Hall of Fame is his nephew, Josh Lance.
My uncle asked me how long this was, and I told him it's a page and a half. He was worried there for a minute. We might be here all night. Good evening. Tonight I am humbled to be introducing my uncle for his induction into the Courier Sports Hall of Fame. When he called and asked if I'd be willing to present him, I felt surprised as well as honored. I have admired my uncle my entire life, and he is one of the two most influential men in my life. I could tell you about all the times that we threw the football in the driveway or the yard. I could go on and on about how hard of a worker he is and how his smile and energy always pulls everyone to him. But that's not why we're here tonight. Tonight we're here to congratulate a man on his athletic accomplishments. I've always remembered hearing stories from men that had played ball with my uncle, like how he was a freshman playing at Castle Heights. I believe it was his freshman year. He had a broken forearm a few weeks earlier. The seniors had helped him get the cast off at halftime so that he could play running back in the second half. The Lions would wind up winning that game until this past season was the only playoff win in school history. Or the story of when Coach Bobby Parker was trying to start a baseball team at CCHS, and he, along with several of his friends, were part of the first CCHS baseball squad. The stories of his speed and athleticism on the basketball court and how much he just loved to compete, or how he was great on the offensive side, but he could lock up the opposing team's best shooter in a one-on-one situation. This man will be known for many accomplishments in his life, but the one I hear about the most is how he was the first football player at CCHS to be named first team All-State playing defensive back. I am humbled and honored to present my uncle, my friend, Benny Lance, for the Courier Sports Hall of Fame.
At my age, you have to carry some of these around with you. First of all, thank you, Josh, very much. I want to thank the Hall of Fame for this wonderful, wonderful honor. And I want to thank everyone that voted for me. It's truly a great honor. I want to thank my family and friends for being here tonight. I love all of you. I want to congratulate the other inductees. It's a great class to be inducted with. And while I'm thanking folks, I want to thank all the people that took time to guide and coach me through the years. So many are already gone, but there's a few left. One of the great gifts someone can give is their time, because you can't never get that back. That's why I'm thanking those in the past, those in the present, and those in the future that give their time to young people to coach, referee, umpire, or just give support. You really do make all the difference in the world to the young folks. In my mind, I got to play for some of the greatest coaches in the world. That's my mind. I respected them, and even more today. I also got to be a teammate to some of the greatest teammates ever. Roger Haley was one of them. I cherish all these memories. And once again, thank you for this wonderful honor.
Following Benny into the Hall of Fame is Matthew Rigsby. A two-sport star in basketball and baseball, Rigsby returned home to coach his alma mater and was twice named District Basketball Coach of the Year. Presenting Matt into the Courier Hall of Fame, also a Hall of Fame member, is Alan Bush.
Benny stole my eyeglass joke. Got to have those things. I spent all my time for my life, I feel like looking for my eyeglasses. Usually I feel like I don't need anything. When I do one of these things, I've done these a couple of times, and I always feel like I don't need any notes. I'll jot a few things down. I think it's pretty easy. I can remember a lot of things, but I'm up here to present Coach Rigsby for his success as a coach, and obviously I coached him, and I was jotting some things down, got to thinking about him as a player, thinking about some things I was going to say, and I remember first time I saw him, he was in middle school, point guard for his team, and first thing that stood out